I'm not sure what the first thing is you do after the Ravens release a lot of their practice highlight videos, but me personally, I will usually record it and then watch it in slow motion because I want to see the offensive formations. I think I've discovered 2 times where the Ravens are under center, running play action. One of them was a touchdown pass to Slade Bolden, maybe from Monday's practice, maybe last Friday, I'm not sure. But as we enter the first preseason game tonight against the Titans, first of all, there's an unbelievable history between these two franchises, even dating back to the Ravens' first Super Bowl run and our win down there in the playoffs when Ray Lewis had the pick six. And then the 2019 upset when Tennessee came to Baltimore and really put us in our place in terms of what we were offering offensively and how predictable we were in some situations. Tonight's going to have, first of all, there'll be a lot to talk about. Are we under center? Are we going to be in the pistol the whole time? Of course, Lamar's not going to play, so we might be under center more tonight with other quarterbacks being utilized. Tyler Huntley generally seems to be a guy who's in the pistol, and we've certainly shown all 3 backfield alignments this in training camp: under center, pistol, and then typical shotgun, like you see here on this play that precedes the long bomb to Rashad Bateman down the right sideline. Usually, I hope our defense gets on the field first. I've always been like that, whether coaching or just watching the game. In this case, I hope the offense goes first because I want to see if we're under center at all. If the under center zone and bootleg schemes are put in place, that gives us a huge indicator as to where the offense might be going. Let me know what you think of that thought in the comments section. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be looking at personnel and really, all of our rookies. How are they doing? Isaiah Likely and Kyle Hamilton are 2 guys that seem to have sharpened each other's skills going head-to-head so often in training camp. And I think they're 2 of the guys they're not the 2 guys who are most ready, but they're the 2 guys who have probably had the most simulated reps against someone that's of their equivalent size and ability level that they're going to see on an NFL field either during preseason or in the regular season. I really can't wait to see how Hamilton is deployed, how we're utilizing him, and what coverages we're playing depending on the personnel that we have on the field, because we know we've got so many safety-type guys that we're extremely versatile. All right, the next thing that I'll be looking for, even though Gus and J.K. obviously are not playing, and in Gus's case probably won't be playing for a while, is how are we utilizing our running backs? Are we under center running the zone scheme? Are we in the pistol running a pistol read option, which if you've paid attention to any of my videos, I've called for us to kind of move away from the pistol option scheme. Maybe not leave it behind, but definitely use it way less than we ever have before. Let the running backs and the offensive line create some of the space in the zone and outside zone and stretch scheme, as opposed to the pistol option scheme and forcing the quarterback to make a decision on every play whether to keep it or give it. Even though we don't have J.K. and Gus available, I think with the running backs that the Ravens have, Batty, Davis, Clement, McCreary, all of those guys are guys who've played in zone systems before and can be used effectively. If you don't know what I mean by zone system, it's basically blocking an area, and the gaps are going to be moving, so things are less declared. The running backs usually get a 2-way go, either to bang it or bend it back, or bounce it or bang it, depending on whether you're running inside zone, which is on the left, or outside zone, stretch to the right. And if you've been watching my videos again, I've called for us to use this and have Lamar or whoever's playing quarterback in the preseason games boot off of those play actions and take advantage of the lateral movement of the second-level defenders, inside linebackers, and any strong safeties rolled up near the box. All right, so the position group that gets the most attention because we had the least amount of signings is wide receiver. And it's one that I think holds tremendous interest going throughout the preseason because we have so many undrafted guys that are trying to battle for roster spots. And if you don't know, the draft this past year was essentially like 2.5 drafts in one in terms of the total number of players available. So it makes sense that some of the guys who went undrafted will be quite talented, as we see that Slade Bolden, Shamar Bridges, Mekhi Polk, and others are clearly very talented because each one of them has had moments in camp where they've burned our defense for touchdowns. I can't wait to see how these guys match up against the Titans. The Titans have a number of promising rookies and even undrafted guys themselves. They certainly have players that we were looking at as Ravens fans: Nicholas Petit-Ferreira, Roger McCreary, and others. I'm really going to be trying to look at the routes and the route concepts that are being run. Is there any evolution to the offense? Of course, there's been multiple people, high-level YouTube content creators, who have insinuated in the past couple of days that the Ravens' passing attack didn't evolve at all in 2021. That's patently not true. If you look at early in the season, prior to Lamar getting hurt, obviously. The passing concepts that were being utilized, there were multiple concepts that the Ravens have never used before. The influence of T. Martin and even Keith Williams to a lesser extent was obvious to anyone who really watched the film and paid attention. I'm going to be looking for certain concepts: mesh, smash, over concepts, flood concepts. The last two of which are classic Greg Roman concepts. But there's air raid concepts like snag, RPO stuff that Greg Roman didn't do prior to 2021. I'm really looking forward to seeing what types of passing concepts we run. And in the reaction video I do tonight, I'll try to point out some of those as best I can without using the video, which I believe would be copyright protected. All right, moving on to the defense. It'll be, as I kind of alluded to earlier, it'd be real interesting to me to see what Mike Macdonald does. Wink kind of did what he did regardless of whether it was preseason, regular season, playoffs. So give him credit on that. He was going to play man free, bring a lot of pressure, practice his stunt schemes, and I think that's one of the reasons why the edge rushers were limited in terms of the number of sacks that they had last year, and every year that Wink was the DC, because he had so many pressure calls, so many stunts that were trying to create pressure through the stunt rather than just letting the edge rusher or the D tackle organically create pressure with their pass rush moves. I think Mike Macdonald's defense is going to be more of the latter. That's been well established by a lot of people. I want to see how much he's playing man-free and what type of man-free he's playing. There's two different versions that I'm familiar with. Also want to see what types of zones we're playing. Are we going to mix in? He played a lot of cover 2 at Michigan. He also did play a lot of man-free on third down. I want to see, are we mixing in cover 2, cover 3? Do we have any what looks like split field coverage calls? There's so many guys in the defensive backfield that have, and we don't even have Marcus Peters back yet. Brandon Stevens has been out for over a week. Hopefully he's healthy. Maybe not playing tonight. But I want to see what coverages he's playing. What's the expectation level on the players? Are they expected to play multiple coverages? Recognize the right time to play those coverages? Because a lot of those checks are made on field. People sometimes criticize the defensive coordinators for calling a certain coverage. A lot of times the coverage checks are made as the offense lines up in a particular formation. And it's something that's been installed during the week. Hey, when you see twin slot on third down, let's check to cover 3 or whatever the coverage check might be. Now, in a preseason game, you're probably not going to get automatic checks like that because we really don't have an idea what Tennessee's going to run offensively in terms of their formations. We know what their main concepts are when Derrick Henry's on the field, obviously. And then finally, the piece that's going to be really interesting for me as a Ravens fan is who are we playing at outside linebacker or edge defender in these preseason games? I don't know about you, but I don't really need to see Odafe Oweh out there a whole lot in the preseason. There's certain other. Justin Houston is another one. I want to see a lot from Dalen Hayes. I mean, Stephen Means and Jeremiah Moon are going to get a lot of reps along with Hayes, so we'll get a real good idea of what those guys are capable of, at least against the Titans. Let me know what you think of some of my thoughts, the things you're looking forward to. This was obviously meant to be very simple. As excited as I am to see the players finally get on the field against someone else, I'm really genuinely interested in the schemes that our coordinators have put in place.